What's up guys, Delta here, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be discussing the absolute best hunter class setup for Destiny 2 PvP going into the new season, Season 15. Bungie has been making sandbox changes and buffing different archetypes of weapons, so this build will attempt to showcase the best setup for these sandbox changes. Included in that statement is the best hunter subclass for PvP, the best tree within that subclass, and much more, so stick around till the end of the video. Before we get into the build, if you found this content informative or helpful, or if you just want to support the channel, feel free to drop a like and a comment in the comment section below. I really value your feedback and I appreciate everyone who stops to take a look at my videos. With that said, let's get right into it. If you're only interested in the class that I'm using in this video, it's the Middle Tree Night Stalker, better known as the Way of the Wraith. If you want to know more about why this subclass is the best, and what weapons, exotics, and mods to pair with this build, feel free to stick around. Let me preface this build by saying there really are no bad hunter subclasses, so the challenge becomes picking the most viable of these decent options. I am aware that this build has been around for a while, and it used to dominate when it was introduced way back in Forsaken, and recently became the #1 option in my opinion since the Stasis nerf. Recently, Bungie's changes to certain archetypes of shotguns such as the Fellwinters and the Astral Horizon have also pushed this build further into the meta. If you couldn't already guess, or maybe you missed the intro, the build we will be covering today is focused on the Night Stalker subclass, more specifically the Middle Tree variant, the Way of the Wraith. This class is the best for PvP for a multitude of reasons, which we will cover later in the video. I'm going to sum up the value of this build in just 2 words: wall hacks. Crouching and getting a precision kill will proc a perk called Flawless Execution, which grants invisibility for up to 9 seconds and, more importantly, True Sight for up to 3 seconds, which outlines enemies through walls and a red glow. With True Sight, you can track enemy movements and see their positions through walls. This perk is also active in the super, and it procs when using a heavy attack, causing you to go invis and gaining that True Sight. This is incredibly useful in PvP since seeing people through walls will give you a huge advantage in terms of positioning for you and your team. The best part about this is that you can essentially chain it so long as you keep getting crouched kills. This actually also procs on a sliding kill as well, so the patented shotgun slide maneuver will pair nicely with this build. With that out of the way, let's talk about abilities. For dodges, I'm personally using the Gambler's Dodge since it reduces your melee cooldown significantly. Having more melee charges is a significant increase in utilization since the melee blinds and damages targets at range. You could also use it to wall off entrances or a res in trials, especially in combination with the grenade. The grenade is up to your choice. I generally enjoy the spike grenade as well as the vortex, but the void wall is best in class when it comes to cutting off lanes and doing damage to targets. Let's talk about weapons. The big caveat of this build is the conditionality of the perk, Flawless Execution. You have to get a precision kill to realize the full value and potential of this build. Let's talk about some strategies and some mods that will help you realize that potential and get the full value out of this build. Focusing on the weapons to use with this perk in mind, and with the general trend of Bungie's weapon balancing, the weapons I recommend for this build are hand cannons as your primary and slug shotguns as your secondary. While some people love to use this build with a sniper, my go-to weapon for this build is the Chaperone, which is an exotic slug shotgun, and actually, recently the duality has been seeing a lot of play due to a recent buff, but you could pair it with any slug shotgun, and it goes without saying that a sniper would pair phenomenally with this perk. This makes this build perfect for a game mode such as Trials or Survival, where knowing your enemy's location is pretty much paramount to your success. I like to think of this build as having your own built-in Caviera from Rainbow Six, performing an interrogation on a kill. If you are going to run a slug shotgun with this build, I recommend pairing it with either a 120 hand cannon such as the Bottom Dollar or the Igneous Hammer, or a 140 hand cannon such as the Ace or the Thorn. In terms of legendary 140s, I would say maybe an Austringer is a good choice, but seeing as that gun is sunset, I recommend the Fatebringer, which drops from the Vault of Glass, or the Palindrome, which you can farm from Master and GM Nightfalls. That said, you would need a legendary slug to pair the exotic 140s with, and my recommendations for that would be the Heritage, which drops from the Deepstone Crypt, or the Bone Chiller from the Europa weapon set. Any of these weapons would be just fine so long as you are crouching while killing in order to take advantage of Flawless Execution. There are a few really good exotics that pair well with this. I'll start off by mentioning my top pick, which is the Stompies. Stompies buff sprint, jump, and dodge abilities, making your hunter quicker and allowing you to really take advantage of Destiny's movement system. Hunters are the most mobile, and this exotic really helps take that over the top. Also, this exotic's effect is completely neutral, so you don't have to do anything except move your character to feel the effects of this exotic. This functionality makes it my favorite exotic for PvP, and my favorite hunter exotic overall. My next choice would probably be either the Quizen Vest or the Dragon Shadow, which buffs reload speed and handling on a dodge. These are really useful exotics, but I tend to favor Stompies over this. I can achieve a similar effect of Dragon's Shadow through mods. Quizen Vest is something that you can use in conjunction with Stompies, since it only affects the super by increasing duration and not much else, but with having to swap to it in-game, I personally wouldn't use it. Speaking of mods, there are a few really important ones to utilize with this build in order to maximize the value of it. If you can't hit your headshots, you won't be proccing Flawless Execution. Here are some mods that will really help with target acquisition and hitting those shots. I recommend using both shotgun targeting and hand cannon targeting, since both of those mods correspond with my weapons of choice. Of course, if you wanted to run, say, a pulse rifle and a sniper, if you're on a long range map like Midtown, by all means switch to those targeting mods, or you could even use a targeting adjuster for a sniper. In addition to targeting mods, stat increase mods to mobility and resilience will be your best bet for PvP success. Having max or near max mobility is key to doing well in the Crucible, since having max mobility gives a buff to movement speed, jump height, and dodge cooldowns, which allows you to dodge more out of sticky situations. And more importantly, it increases the speed at which you can strafe. Strafing speed is super important when it comes to PvP, since strafing into your shots is critical to winning gunfights and outmaneuvering your opponents. This concept was covered in one of my previous videos, which you can find in the card above and linked in the description below. Another benefit of max mobility is that dodging more near enemies will reduce your melee cooldown, allowing you to use more melee abilities as well. So dodging more reduces melee cooldown, therefore allowing you to do more damage to make use of that ability. It actually provides some unique opportunities with regards to getting some easy kills, since your smoke bomb traps enemies and does damage to them. In terms of passive buffs, I'm using the Taking Charge mod in synergy with the High Energy Fire mod. Taking Charge grants stacks of Charged with Light on picking up an orb of power, and High Energy Fire buffs damage for each stack of Charged with Light. It's like a free damage boost for running over an orb, and it makes this build that much more lethal. So guys, we covered a lot in this build video, and we made it to the end. If you guys enjoyed and found this guide helpful, let me know down in the comment section below. If you guys have any requests for videos or anything you'd like to see, do let me know. If you would like to see more content like this, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Have a good one. Peace.